Perfect. So welcome back to a 7 Ways to Wealth Masterclass. I'm super excited to introduce our guest. His name is Errol J Allen. He's a good friend of mine. I just met him in Vegas a couple of months ago, and he is actually a short-term rental coach. So he is the founder of Young Bucks Nation and the co-host of the podcast, All Things Entrepreneur. And so what he's going to be teaching us tonight is how to have an additional $3,000 to $5,000 a month, how to make that passively with short-term rentals. And he is a beast in his industry in real estate. So Errol, you have the floor. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Can you all hear me? Awesome. First off, I need to take your introduction. I just need to take that on the road, like everywhere I go. So appreciate that. No, my own mama don't even talk me up like that. So I appreciate the confidence boost. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Second thing though, I'm able to share my screen though, right?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to keep this a secret, y'all. I'm actually going to divulge one module of my course tonight just for you guys.
How you doing? I'm good.
So we're gonna get into it. But yes, so my name is Errol J Allen. I've been in the real estate investing space for the past almost a decade now. I've been in the short-term rental space for the past half decade. I've done a lot of cool things. I'm not gonna go through the whole what's my backstory and how I did what I did, because y'all aren't here for that. Y'all here for how to make money in the short-term rental space. So we'll get straight into it. So that being said, and of course afterwards we'll have some questions. We got time for Q&A at the end, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start off, I'm gonna give you all some information. If you all like the information, we'll always go talk about the end, and then, from there, we'll go from wherever. So yes, the name of my education company is Young Bucks Nation, a millennial CEO network that has geared towards showing people how to become full-time investors. So that is what we do, that is our purpose. Let me get out of that one, wrong one. Where is it? Nope, not that one. What's the wrong thing? Here we go. So, y'all can see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So what I'm showing you guys is just pretty much a little overview of my process, my breakdown, my course that I show people how to get into Airbnb space. So you see it's broken down the 3 big piece modules, and then within those 3 big piece modules, there's 3 executable mini modules within it. So today we'll talk about probably the most crucial one is finding the deal. But if you guys wanted to see my breakdown of how I go about teaching this to my students, there y'all go. Let's just jump straight into it. Can y'all still see the screen?
Yes.
Awesome. So how to find short-term rentals, because that's probably the biggest question. That's why people want to get into space. They want to know, how do I find these properties? What do I say? What do I do? We're just going to address the big elephant in the room and get it out the way so you guys are educated and know what to do going forward. So like I said before, you guys already know a little bit about me, full-time real estate entrepreneur. That's one of my arbitrages that I was actually standing in front of. So whether you're new to the world of the short-term rental space, or you've been real estate agent, or some connection point, this is a vital strategy that you want to have in this sector, because this is what I believe like the new wave. The new wave would be like peer-to-peer. That's why I believe it's going to be very crucial as it goes down in the time as we go on. Like you got Uber, you got Postmates, all these other peer-to-peer services. So why not do it with your house? So methods how you go about finding stuff. Method number 1, you can do what's called driving for dollars. You go driving for dollars, and this is being very intentional. You get in your car, you gas it up, you go out into areas, and you look for stuff like for rent by owner signs, for sale by owner signs, or if you see contractors working on a house. I actually got arbitrage leads from all of these methods by finding for sale by owner signs, and they decided they didn't want to sell, couldn't sell for whatever reason, and then we was able to do a rental arbitrage play. Or just finding people who intentionally are looking to rent their properties and then come in, saying the right thing, rent it from them, and end up, paying $1,000 and make $4,000 or $5,000 on Airbnb, VRB, or what have you. So that's one way to go about doing it. But my favorite way to go about doing it, which doesn't require me to leave my bed, and as well I do a lecture. I'm gonna skip this one. It's about intentional networking. If you guys are curious, it's another method. Again, If you guys want to get boots in the ground, you could do it. But my favorite method is leveraging the internet. I don't have to get out of my bed to get arbitrage leads. I literally wake up, spend a good 15, 30 minutes on the internet. I literally play the game of matchmaker. What's the most attractive and best fits my model or my business model for my short-term rental operations? So as you guys can see right now, that's about all the sources I use. Now I'm gonna give you guys a very, very, very strong hint. Everything that's in gray is where I got the most arbitrages and where my students got the most arbitrages to this day. So not to say that the yellow don't work, it's just that the gray was hidden for everybody in me and my sector or my network per se. So there are all the sites. You guys can, screenshot it or we'll look back at the recording. It's all up to you. Now, some things to know, and of course, we're all entrepreneur minded on here, but I always tell this to people, whether you're, 5 years in the entrepreneur space, no years in the entrepreneur space, mindset's everything. So this space is literally 90% mindset, not even just this space, any space in business, any business field, it's 90% mindset and 10% actual skill set, knowing what to say, how to say it, why you say it, but it really boils down to conditioning your mind to win. So just a few mindset reminders as you go out in your journeys. Now, of course, after today, you will have the skills to know how to go find it, but there's going to be a lot more stuff that comes into it, which I can't cover in this one 30-minute episode, but you at least know how to find opportunities to do short-term rentals. So when it comes to discussing a rental arbitrage, doing short-term rental play, when you come across these leads, remember, maintain posture at all times. Do not come off desperate. If you guys are anything like any other individual human being, if you go out dating, everybody obviously knows that one guy that comes off too desperate, like, oh, can you please take me out? Or that one girl that's like, oh, I just really want to do it. And it's like, as you push, the other person pulls and vice versa. So maintain posture at all times. From the second you say hello or hit send on the email, make sure you maintain posture. Also know, you never need any particular one unit. Now, I've had a few students, and actually the one that comes to mind, one of my most recent coaching students, she was a real estate agent. And I love working with people who are already in the real estate space, but there's also this thing where if you're already in the real estate space, it's like you're not a blank slate. So you have your own preconceived way of doing things versus following the system that's already worked for not just me, but others for you. So long story short, I had this agent, I'm not gonna call her out. She brought me this opportunity, and it took her 2 months to get her first arbitrage after she started working with me. No pressure, like 2 months is cool. So she brought me this one unit, and I'm talking about, it was a mountain property. It was perfect. Like, she loved it. She's giving me all the schematics, what she's gonna do to it. Like, Errol, this is the one. Let's do it. Blah blah blah. And I was like, I wouldn't do that one. And she's like, what? Why not? And I was like, because the numbers don't make sense. He said, yeah, but I can force a deal out of it. I can do this and do that with it and blah, blah, blah. And I can attract this type of client, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why are you trying to put a square peg in a round hole? The numbers don't make sense on paper. If the numbers don't make sense, what are we talking about? We do what makes dollars and what makes sense. Again, I'm all for making a pretty house and making themes and all that good stuff. But if the numbers don't make sense, you got to keep it moving. So I helped her get past that limit. No, I won't say limit, that hurdle. And then we found a deal that made sense. And then when she got that deal, and thank God luckily she waited. When she got that deal set up for a short-term rental, in her first week, she got a booking for $4,000 for the next 2 months. Her rent was covered for the next 3-4 months off her first booking. Because the numbers made sense. She did all the themes, the schemes that she wanted to do. It was a good deal all around. How she tried to force the other deal, it may not turn out the same. So remember, you never need one particular unit. Next thing, some will, some won't, okay, next. There's going to be some people, just like in anything you do, that aren't going to see the vision or aren't going to understand it. People naturally fear what they do not understand. So when you say Airbnb, which I kind of don't advise my students to say at the beginning, if you say Airbnb, when you're talking to the decision maker, if they're not already privy to Airbnb, the only thing they're going to recall is all the things that they know of, which was probably stuff that came on the media or news outlets. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, it's not positive. They're thinking, oh my God, parties. There was a shootout I saw at this house in Africa. Oh, there was the host, the guest didn't leave the home because I went out of town. Like they just think all the negatives and none of the positives because they don't have no positive to pull from. And these big outlets aren't pushing positive narratives either. So just remember, some will, some won't. Okay, next. Going forward. You must be consistent and persistent in your pursuit of getting short-term rentals. What do I mean by that? It's a numbers game. You're gonna find out, some, like I said, some will say yes. You might get an appointment and then you know what, you walk the house and it doesn't work for your model functionality-wise. You know what, maybe you get over there, the numbers work out and the location's just not as safe as you want it to be. You just gotta be consistent and persistent in your journey and stay laser focused on finding what your ideal unit is that you said you wanted to get. Remember, guys, we're a professional 24/7, 365 with a better way. If you guys didn't know, prior to getting into the short-term rental space, and as a traditional landlord, I was a long-term landlord. So me being a long-term landlord, I know the pitfalls of long-term landlords, i.e. tenants showing up and paying rent late, giving you the sob story. Oh, I lost my unemployment. Oh, my daughter Susie had a health issue that just depleted all my funds, and you're over here playing cat and mouse, chasing only $500, $700, possibly best case, net profit from a 1 unit. That was some interesting times. So when I switched over to the short-term space, a lot of that headache goes away. And guess what? Now that I know these are headaches that long-term landlords go across, I make sure to include the solutions to those problems in my one page or in my script that I give my students. And obviously, guys know it's a numbers game. Simple as that. Just like anything, you're not gonna make 100% of shots you take. It's a numbers game. Now, pillow talk. What you say when you want to get in bed with the quote unquote decision maker, landlord, homeowner, real estate agent, property manager, apartment complex, what have you. These are just some tidbits. This ain't the whole thing. These are some tidbits that I advise my students to do, depending on if you're going for a home or an apartment unit, just to, better position yourself for them to want to choose you over other people. So first and foremost, make sure that you guys are talking to the decision maker. Don't talk to the showing agent. Don't talk to the leasing agent's assistant. That's just, no, make sure you're talking to a decision maker who can actually say yay or nay as it pertains to the specific property. I can't stress that enough because I don't know how many times I had some of my coaches students talk to gatekeepers, and when we ask a decision maker question, now, oh, I got to get back to you and I ask Bob. Well, why are we talking to you? We give him the whole spiel, whole presentation, and you have to go ask somebody else. Let's talk to that guy. So make sure you're talking to the decision maker. Approach this as a B2B, not a B2C. What do I mean by that? Now, depending if you guys go for homes or apartment units, I'm just going to speak of the home aspect. I can tell you the apartment unit stuff, but let's just say it's homes because there's a lot more private-owned landlords versus going for apartment units that have 30 plus units available. If you're talking like private-owned landlords and private homeowners, we approach this as this is what our business can offer you. This is our service. Here's what we can bring for you. Not, oh, can you rent it out to us? No, this is a service. So it's a whole different conversation. And with a whole different conversation, we get a whole lot of different questions asked versus just, do you have good credit or do you have any foreclosed bankruptcy? No, those questions aren't even getting asked because we approach it in a B2B scenario. And then just some things to kind of like discount the rent. I always go for 2-year leases. Now, with apartment complexes, you're not going to get that. They're going to say 13 years, 12 months, 13 months, 12 months, what have you, because they have their own systems. This works more towards the homeowners, town homeowners, and small property management companies. Always go for 2-year leases. The reason you go for 2-year leases is because you show long-term commitment and you can ask for less rent. So case in point, actually with this exact unit that I took a shot with, this unit right here, I got this unit back in 2020. I got this unit back in 2020. So I've had it for 2 years now. And my rent has been the same since then. And mind you, I just signed a renew lease for it 3 months ago. when we originally rented out, came to agreement on the rent, they was originally asking me $1,700 a month for this specific unit. I was able to talk them down to $1,575 because I made a 2-year commitment. And when we signed the renew lease, just this April, May, I'm still paying $1,575. 2 years. Now we can agree in the Atlanta market specifically, property values have gone up. A whole lot of other stuff has gone up, which probably means rent's gone up, not mine. Because I pitched to them my perfect tenant program, which I won't have time to get into how I pitched the perfect tenant program. I wish I could, but I don't. You can just copy the name and maybe use it when it applies. The perfect tenant program is why I pitch small landlords and pretty much everybody. Now going back to this, ask them to open corporate leasing. This falls more into the units, apartment buildings, whatnot. Because again, I don't lead with using the word Airbnb, VRBO, all that stuff, because like I said before, people are negatively prone. People have negative connotations when it comes to the word Airbnb, because it's just not having a lot of positive push in the media outlets. So we don't go say, hey, are you open to Airbnb in this spot? Nah, we do corporate house and corporate lease. That's what we ask. And then, of course, I said go through Benson, my landlord letter. I do not have time to go through the whole landlord letter. I wish I did, but I just don't. So we're going to have to skip that, unfortunately. And then remember, at the end of the day, the worst thing they can do is tell you a 2-letter word, N-O. They're not going to come find you. They're not going to send the goons on you. The worst they can say is, no, I don't know how many students I've had that were afraid to pick up the phone and make the call. I mean, what you afraid of? They're not gonna find you. Listen, you don't have to tell me real name until you actually get to the lease part. Then you gotta tell me real name. And you're that scared. But there's a lot of, living in beliefs, people come from different backgrounds. So I make sure to kind of like help alleviate the barriers and say, this is the worst case. The worst they can say is no. And that's pretty much all I got. So hopefully that quick 101 of just how to find and identify short-term rental opportunities helps you guys out. Of course, like I said, I can't teach you the whole thing in one night because it's not meant to be taught in one night. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I will unshare or not unshare. I mean, you guys to unmute yourself and feel free to ask.
I have a question.
I have an answer. Who is it, by the way? Let me stop sharing. Michelle, got you.
I wanted to ask a question. Would this your program work for group homes, like when regards to the leasing, like the short-term lease?
So when you say working for group homes, are you putting like traveling nurses in it? What do you mean specifically, just so I can understand?
Oh no, this is just a thought. I'm like in the process of trying to get the paperwork. Well, I guess I'm going the route right now as a foster parent because they're mentioning that I have to have a property in order to be able to start a group home. So that's what I was asking about, but I didn't think about travel nursing. I was just thinking about, the disability.
Okay, so you're asking would the techniques used to get somebody to say yes for a short-term rental work for you to then transition that into a group home on the back end?
Yes.
So yes, you'll have people say yes to it, but then in terms of setting up for a group home and all that, I don't know anything about that sector. So I can't speak on what needs to be done to make it a group home.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Oh man, I must be a rock star.
No, I'm right here.
Okay. Howdy, Ms. Taylor. How goes it?
It goes. So I just purchased my first property. It is a duplex. Well,
congrats.
Thank you. Multifamily. I'm in the process of getting some things up to code and renovating because it was an older property. I was debating whether or not to do something because I prefer corporate housing because I'm not interested in dealing with people like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not. I live in Houston, so I'm not like right inside the city, but I'm not far out.
Okay.
But as far as like setting up for short-term rentals and attracting the type of people that you would like in your space, what advice do you have for that?
Okay, so first and foremost, you don't have to tell me exactly where it's at, but I'm just asking you some questions about your duplex. Isn't there any hospitals or big businesses?
Yes.
Hospital, big business, airport, which one?
Hospitals for sure.
Perfect. Travel nurses. There you go. So what
I
you
am a
can
travel
do,
nurse.
even better, you can speak to them directly. So what you should do is set up for travel nurses and go to Furnish Finder and then put your properties there, and you get clients that'll stay for 3-6 months at a time versus 3 to 7 nights. There you go. And that's actually what I did when COVID happened. When COVID first came about, the whole entire short-term rental industry was like on their head, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I had one guy who went from 3 units to 9 units in 90 days, and he literally got rid of all of them. All I did was, you know what, where's the money going? And I see the money's going to the hospitality industry right now, nurses and whatnot. Well, let me cater to them. And that's how I was able to keep all my units afloat. I didn't even lose no income. I made more money because of that.
And well, this might to piggyback off of that, because one of the units is pretty huge, it's pretty big. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
What about just doing room rentals?
Okay, so yes, you can do room rentals too, but I don't know the specific numbers in the Houston market. And actually, that's one of the markets I'm looking to tap into next. I'm in multiple markets. Come on through. So yeah, I'm looking to actually check that out in more detail. But so I don't know the specific numbers, but that is an option. You can do pad split. Pad split lets you do it by the room, but I think pad split.
Pad splits.
And there's other sites too. Like there's a plethora of sites. There's probably sites for your state specifically, but there's a plethora of sites. But I would say I would probably recommend try to do the full space first, because when you have rooms, when you're doing it by the rooms, it's a little bit more tedious because now you got to factor in that guest A may be good, but guest B and C are trash, and you got to deal with that whole episode. And you got it's a little bit more other rooms. I would recommend doing a whole space first. What up? Oh, I thought someone had a question. Cool. Does anybody else have questions?
I can keep going.
Listen, I'm here. I love questions. There's no better question. Go for it.
Furnishing and like laying out the whole like funding to go ahead and get everything in there, because typically that's like the most tedious part for me.
Okay, so funding is your first question to furnishing.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have time to really walk you through the whole furnishing thing. I have a whole like SOPs for furnishing that's in my course, so that's for that. In terms of funding though, what you could do, I'm not sure. How can I think? Because I should have my website got set up. I might give you my email or something, or actually I might just give it, let me think. What I'll do is
I can DM you. Don't worry.
Perfect, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, I should have thought of sooner. DM me on Instagram, funding sources. If you DM me funding sources on Instagram, my IG handle is right here. I'll give you my funding sources PDF and you can go explore those.
Will do. And what's your, I know Chris.
It's right there. It's
nope, I got that.
Yeah.
The courses and things that you offer.
So I offer 3 things. So I have a small group coaching program. So that's pretty much like live sessions on a bi-weekly basis. And then I actually have my whole course. You can just go on AMP, Airbnb Me Please. So that's going through the whole thing. And I do offer one-on-one intensives, but most people really just get the AMP. So get AMP, Airbnb Me Please course, and go off to the races. As it pertains to the short-term rental sector, those are my digital products. I got more, but we're talking about Airbnb tonight.
Thank you.
No problem. Does anybody have any other questions for me?
Thank you for asking those questions, Kayla. Thank you, Michelle. I wanted to see if Ann had a question because I know that she was very interested in Airbnb. So I wanted to see if she had any questions for our guest speaker, who is a specialist in Airbnb.
I just have to be around.
Ann, are you able to unmute?
Came in late. I wasn't able to hear the whole thing. So if you have you could send me resources, I'm very useful.
Sorry, I didn't understand none of that.
The connection is not clear.
She said she missed a good bit of it. She came in late, but if there are any additional resources that can be sent to her, that would be great.
Well, good news for you, there's a recording, so you'll be getting that. But like I said before, if you want my funding sources, you can just message me on Instagram, funding sources. So there's that. And then if you are looking to like really like dive into it and just, hey, I want to learn how to add an extra 3 to 5K a month in passive income, you can actually just text me STR at the phone number, and I'll read it real slow, or I can just put in the group chat, either or. I might just do both. You can text me STR at 678-400-2095.
2095.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Can I put in a chat? Yeah, I can put in a chat. Yeah, I just dropped in the chat for y'all.
Thank you.
So if you do that, obviously you'll be tapped in with me and my ecosystem, and you'll be provided with a lot of opportunities and stuff to learn how to do it.
I have a question.
I got an answer.
Is you hear my fire alarm? So sorry, guys. It's crazy over here. That condo life is not for everybody.
Entrepreneur life.
Right. So is short-term rental or Airbnb, is that a recession-proof business since we are in a recession?
Oh, you asked the best question of the night. Let me get comfortable. So, because I've had a bunch of contemporaries and associates challenge me on this, and I answer it with one question. At the end of the day, guys, where are you going back to tonight?
Home.
A house, a home to sleep, to live, to eat, to hang out with your family, housing. As long as you have housing, you will never go without. So whether it be short-term rental, long-term rental, renting by the rooms, catering to students, catering to what have you, if you have an asset like houses, it will stand the test of time. And you guys are all living proof of it, because where y'all going after this? That's my answer.
I'm speechless.
I'm just saying, like, everybody says, man, Airbnb's not gonna last. Okay, let's not talk about the company. Let's talk about the actual product, the houses. Are you going to a house tonight to sleep? Or an apartment? Or a town? You going to something with a roof to sleep tonight? If not, it's gonna be very uncomfortable.
That's true. That's true. Wait, so it sounds like you putting it in the real estate box, but what about like people being able to go on vacation and all this other stuff?
So I talk about the actual short-term rental stuff, but yeah, traveling and all that stuff too, people still go travel. You're never, even when COVID first happened, people weren't traveling, but guess what? Traveling nurses was still a thing. People weren't traveling for leisure, they was traveling for work. And they needed housing for that work because they didn't all live in the states they went to. So there's always going to be a need. It's just how do you position your property to fit that need? So this is even past Airbnb. I talk about Airbnb because that's the sexy thing. Everybody knows what Airbnb is, but it goes deeper than just Airbnb, VRBO, what have you. We're talking about accommodating like this, because again, I hope Airbnb's still here 10 years from now, but it might be something else. And then we'll adjust to that. So it's not just Airbnb, it's the concept of short-term rental and having houses where you can leverage them for people who have all walks of life needs. Like I can't tell you how many times I have a person in Atlanta, like people that live locally, they reach out to me and they say, Errol, you need to rent one of your homes for a month or two because our house is undergoing renovations. Or accident happened, a tree fell on the house and our insurance company's got to do this. Now we got to stay here for 3 months. Like, these are real things.
Yep, that is so true. I love it. I love it. So what do you think about the idea of renting, like you was discussing with Kayla, like renting each room?
Renting rooms can work. I normally do that for my 2-2s and under. So, but that's getting into a whole different conversation. But yeah, so depending on your location, what you're near, like if you're near a college, you definitely should be renting by the room. But if you're like business going, it just depends. That's why I can't give like a clear-cut answer that just addresses everything, but it is a strategy that you can use.
Okay, perfect. Oh my
Even
gosh.
house hacking, if you heard of house hacking.
Exactly. That's what Kayla needs to do. She has a duplex. She needs to live in one side and rent the other side and live rent free. House hacking.
Let me give you a free gem for that then. So I actually have an ebook, shameless plug, called Getting Paid to Stay. And this is before I got real big in the Airbnb scene. I bought a 3-story townhouse. I lived in a townhouse. I rent out the rooms. And guess what? My tenants paid my utilities and my mortgage.
Exactly. That's for free.
That's what I need to do. Like I have
So
5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms.
You just go to this website, you probably can't see it, but youngbucksnation.com, and I'll type in the thing, and you'll see my ebook called Getting Paid to Stay. I believe it's $30, I think. Get that ebook, and it literally walks you step by step on how to do house hacking.
And everybody needs to house hack. If you're not house hacking, then you are at a disadvantage, okay? You're not taking advantage of, of the property and everything that you can do with it, because we need to be living for free, guys. And we need to be stacking and buy more property.
So yeah, I just put in the chat, youngbucksnation.com. You can go to the website, click on the products, and you'll see my ebook Getting Paid to Stay. It's also on Amazon. And yeah, I think it's on those 2 places.
Perfect. So everyone, in the text message that we sent out to alert you about the masterclass, we have Errol's Instagram. So you need to go to Instagram and follow him and just hit him up in the DMs, because he is a wealth of knowledge and he is a phenomenal short-term rental coach. Okay. So and definitely grab his ebook. Errol, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming and serving the community and educating us about short-term rentals.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. Everyone have a good evening. Be blessed, and we'll see you again on Friday.
Bye. Enjoy.
Have a good one.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.